Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I want to show you an Ogre Magi game I played. I'm actually a huge fan of this hero right now. I think it's crazy underrated, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do in your pubs if you want to be an AK Ogre Magi player, which is what I am. Alright, without further ado, smash a like button and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. By the way guys, if you want to become absolutely broken, well, what you need to do is sign up to the GameLeap website down below right now. The reason why you should do that is because every single day we post a new video there. Content that you simply just will never get on YouTube, we post every single day to the website. It's really top tier stuff. I'm very proud of what I make over there. We also have other creators, many of my great friends who are top tier Dota players, creating guides about different heroes, different roles, different items, skill builds, talent builds, everything you need to know to get to the next rank. So if you feel a little bit lost, you're a little bit stuck, click the link down below. I'll see you guys there. And now, let's get into the video. Alright, so in terms of starting items, I'm going to go for Mango, Sentry, Oov, and a bunch of regen. I recommend going this build basically every single game. I think the alternative maybe is 2 branches instead of Salve if you want to go ham with the right clicks, but this is the safest build to go. It's the most reliable. I think playing this hero without an Oov is kind of bad. If you ignite them, they can kind of get away from your right clicks, but if you ignite an auto attack, then they can't. Alright, so first thing to talk about is Ignite. So this spell got mega buffed. It went down by 30 mana at level 1. 30! It is insane how good the spell is compared to what it used to be. So you really need to abuse that. And now let's talk about how to abuse it, because a lot of the time what people do wrong is they just kind of like chuck out Ignite, right? They just throw the spell. And that is wrong. It is wrong. It has to be followed up by auto. So right here, I don't want to Ignite this guy until I get an auto off. Because if I get the auto off, then I kind of think to myself, okay, if I Ignite him, then I can probably get another auto off. This guy also doesn't have boots, which is important to note. If he does, I can't really Ignite him in general. I would have to make sure I'm melee range when I'm doing it. But basically, yeah, I want to make sure I have the Oov going so I can actually get some damage, and I get a nice little favorable trade here. And yeah, after that, you don't want to focus too much on chasing heroes that can get away from you easily. So instead, I immediately shift over to this Mars, who I want to instantly just start pressuring. I want to run at Sky and just make sure that I can bully him out of the lane, and I can synergize with my Arc Warden. The big thing to think about when it comes to trading with Ogre is sort of the heroes you're running into. In this lane, I'm against a Pango Mars. Not really much is going to happen in this lane, so I basically want to run at whoever I can, whenever I can, as long as it's not going to put me under tower. And so yeah, that's kind of the basis of this lane. Once this Mars goes like up into the wave, I'm going to go. But notice how I didn't really bother hitting him when he was far back. If I hit him here, I'm just going to aggro the wave and he's going to retreat. And so instead what I want to do is I want to kind of wait till he feels, you know, basically required to go for the range creep, which is what happened here. He was walking up to W the range creep right here, right? So he was walking up to W the range creep. So that's my time to go on him, and that's exactly what we do. We were able to bully him out. We didn't actually kill him here, but it was very close, and of course, that's just a really nice trade for us, completely kicking this guy out of lane. Now, moving ahead, the first items you want to ship out right away is a bunch of regen. So if I click on my courier, don't skimp, don't rush boots, don't buy a windlace, don't buy anything, okay? Don't buy a null, don't buy gauntlets of strength for a soul ring. You need to spam regen. If you don't, you are playing the hero wrong. If you're not running out of mana, you're playing the hero wrong. And so here, I'm obviously completely out of mana. And so what I want to do, and how the game should basically go every game for Ogre, is as follows. You spam your Ignite early on when you can follow it up with autos. You proceed to ship a bunch of mana and HP regen. When you get that HP and mana regen, you've probably pushed the creep wave because you're constantly autoing and using Ignite. That pushes the wave. After you push the wave, you get your clarities off your courier. You use those clarities, and then you pull. Unfortunately, in this game, my courier got sniped, so I didn't have it right away. The pull camp also got blocked, but assuming that doesn't happen, you unblock your pull, pop your clarities, pull, get the lane back, and then go aggressive again. See how it's very formulaic and it makes a lot of sense? That's how you want your games to feel. So in terms of skill build, there's 2 major skill builds you can go on Ogre. I decided to go for the very traditional max stun this game. But honestly, I played another Ogre game right after this one, and I was a massive fan of maxing out the Ignite, and eventually at level 10 you take the Ignite DPS talent. When you do this, maxed out Ignite at level 7 does 400 damage. If you multicast it and it reapplies to the person, it can do way more. On top of that, when you get the Ignite DPS talent, it does something like 550 damage, which is obviously a stupid amount of damage on a 15-second cooldown that can hit like basically everyone on the enemy team. It's a nutty spell. And so that's the build I recommend you go. When you do that, take Ignite at level 1, you can take Stun at level 2. I personally like taking Bloodlust as it's less overall mana, which is kind of nice to me, right? It's 20 less mana, and Ogre has a lot of mana problems, so that's the build I like to go. Now, in terms of skirmishes, here's how they generally need to go. You need to follow what I'm about to show you very closely, okay? So I was pulling, doing your basic Ogre thing, stack pull, blah, blah, blah. Now, my Night Stalker's here, okay? Knowing this, what do I want to do? I want to bait the enemy team. I need to bring them close to me so that my Night Stalker and Arc Warden can go on them after they've casted a huge volley of spells, because Ogre Magi wants to just get his shit off and then die. That's basically what Ogre wants to do. So as I walk over here, I bump into this Pango. You notice I back off, okay? This might seem really surprising to you guys. Like, Speed, why in the world are you running away? You know your team's here. Well, the reason why I'm doing that is to make the enemy team feel like I am scared. What happens when they think you're scared? They commit, they overcommit, and that's exactly what happens. Lina commits hard. Obviously, I'm not very interested in killing off a level 4 Pingo. I'd rather make sure the kill goes onto the Lina, and so I target her with all of my spells. And what do you know? We're able to get a massive Lina kill. Absolutely huge Lina kill onto my Night Stalker. Moving ahead, the next thing I did was farm mid. Ogre Magi is good at a few times in the game. Number 1, he's really good at level 1. And then number 2, he's really good when he hits level 6. Or just like gets a poop ton of levels. For instance, the Ignite talent is a big spike as well. Obviously, I didn't go that this game, but it is a huge spike. And so once I'm basically not that useful in lane anymore, I'm looking for whatever XP I can get. Now, sometimes there is no mid XP and you just want to go back to your safe lane and spam pull, but in this game, that was obviously not the case. There was a ton of XP this game, literally a literal insane amount of XP this game mid, so I went and took it. And yeah, you should do the same thing. The next thing I want to talk about is items. Guys, please stop rushing mana boots. I understand your hero has mana problems. I know. I just played it twice. It does. It has really bad mana problems, but you cannot go mana boots, okay? It's not the worst thing in the world. The problem, though, with mana boots is it causes you to not buy the tanky items. What are the tanky items? The tanky items in Dota, early game, are Wand and Raindrops. You must buy Wand and Raindrops on Ogre. It is what the hero does, okay? You want to be able to soak an extra 400 damage per fight, which is about what Raindrop Wand is going to give you. Even potentially a little bit more if you get 2 Raindrop procs. Right? And so you have to buy these items. I even go Tranquils here, which I like. Just lets you be really fast. It lets you get in position for your Q. It's particularly valuable when you max out the Q to have the movement speed. But it's still good with the Ignite talent. Lets you kite around the fight. And you just, please guys, don't be afraid to tank the spells. Now, once the game develops a little bit, you can see once it's 15 minutes in, you don't want to just face plant in and die. See how I'm running away here? I'm not just like dying and I'm not like, the goal is not to just feed, okay? The goal is to bait the enemy team to chase you. This is the goal, okay? So in the laning stage, you can kind of just feed. You often can just feed, because if you die, you get your resources back. Once you get to this point in the game, I'm looking to kite out, and that's exactly what we do. We go on the storm, right? Then I use my Q, I use my big spell, right? It can be Ignite, it can be Fire Blast, doesn't matter. I use my spells. What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna go hit this guy. I know I have an move. I'm not gonna go hit him. I want to wait for my next Q. Then I don't care if I die. If I get my next Q off and then I die, okay, great, right? Okay, great. But I do not go in until I have my next Q. Same thing here, right? Cast my Q, kite out. Then I will go in. Then I will frontline. So that's what I'm doing here. Get another Q off onto the Mars. Rinse, repeat, Lukey to fall. In terms of items, honestly, I recommend basically every game. If you just want to keep it simple, go 4-staff. Just so good on this hero. The early Fluffy Hat feels incredible. Just bringing you up to this 1400, 1500 HP range with Wand and Raindrops basically makes you an 1800 HP hero, which is so good. It's just so good. It's enough HP where most heroes can't burst you, and so they have to overcommit. For instance, even a Lina right now at this stage of the game can struggle to burst me. A Mars can struggle to burst me. And that's a very comfortable and useful HP amount to have, which is why I love this build up. Obviously, Glimmer can, have the cloak, which is nice as well. But yeah, I just think this build-up is so good. Also, Ogre kind of have some mana problems. I had this Arcane Ring this game, or whatever this thing's called. Yeah, Arcane Ring. So I didn't have that, but some games, if you don't get that good neutral item and you're left with like a chipped vest or something, then you're gonna have some problems. And so you just keep that in mind. It's really nice to have the staff as well. You're not gonna rush a staff. The primary thing you're buying is, smokes, wards, clarities, raindrops, that type of thing, the Fluffy Hat. But eventually you'll get there. getting to the next team fight, let's see how I play it. So as the fight breaks out, the main thing I'm looking to do is really stun the first person I see. I don't want to overcommit. I just want to basically zone them off. So here I was waiting for the Slark to cast his Q, I think. Did I cancel this one? No, I actually didn't. I probably should have canceled it there, waited for the Slark Q. Either way, I do a good amount of damage and then I run. Good awareness, right? Kiting out the Slark, baiting Mason's attention. You know, this guy, you know, he's pretty easy to kite. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to waste their time as long as I can. I wait for the Slark Q, and we actually end up getting his ulti here. And this is the value of Ogre. This is the value. I'm going to play it one more time, okay? It's not about solo killing anyone. It's not about crushing them with some massive team fight ult. It's the time you purchase. And so that is why if you man up and you're like, oh, yep, I died, but it's space. No. No. Play it like this. Buy the time. I go in, I cast my Q, I immediately run. No hesitation. You see how I instantly turn around? I'm like, ah! Instantly, I start running. Imagine if I get pounced here. I would die 5, 6, 7 seconds faster. They wouldn't have to commit as much. In fact, if I got pounced there, he probably wouldn't have had to ulti, right? But because I spent so much time, I bought so much time, he ended up using his ulti just to finish me off so he wouldn't get stunned. And that, even though it doesn't win us the fight, it obviously is the right idea. It's going to kite out the fight. And that's just how you should look at it. You're looking to bait as many spells as possible, as much time as possible. So in terms of skill build, I think maxing Bloodlust is almost always the way to go. The only time you shouldn't max Bloodlust is if your team, for some odd reason, literally has no one going right-click items. But honestly, Bloodlust is just so nasty good. 60 attack speed is like really high. It's really high. For a hero like Night Stalker, it lets him kill people like 30-40% faster, I swear. For something like Ricky, a hero that, even though he went this like, you know, Meteor Hammer Sleeping Dart build, the attack speed is actually insane. Especially on a hero like Ricky that even without auto attack items, you know, and without, you know, Yasha and Diffusal, still does a ton of damage. And so it's such a good game. Even though this game, it's honestly a little bit questionable because Night Stalker already has built-in attack speed. Ricky isn't really a right-click build, and it's hard for me to Bloodlust Dark Warden, right? It's just not one of those heroes that goes in and is constantly around his supports. And so it's a game where you could argue against it, but honestly, it's just so good. The movement speed is insane. 13% movement speed is so high. For instance, on this, you know, on this Night Stalker, even at night, I think without Bloodlust, he's actually not maxed, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't see it there. Yeah, he's not. He's not maxed. He's maxed when he phase boots, but he's not even close to max without Bloodlust. So it's really a lot. I think I'm giving him 40 to 50 movement speed, which is insane. All right, let's move on to the next fight. So in this next engagement, same thing here. I'm going to walk up, you know, chain the stun. Very nice. Immediately look for a Bloodlust, right? Always get those Bloodlusts out. You should always have 2 running minimum. You can almost have about 3, but it's more so 2. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the chain stun on the Mars. It was very close, but just a little bit off. Cooldown was not there. And I'm going to look for another Bloodlust then. I go on Slark, but notice how I kite out, okay? Over and over again, everyone on my team. This is how you know it's a high MMR game. Like, I'm serious. Look at this, guys. Look how, honestly, this is, like, kind of cool. It's kind of lame, because we're all such nerds, but, like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So as we go on this guy, right, we went for the chain stun, Bloodlust. Okay, my stun wasn't up, whatever, you guys heard that. Then, right as Slark pops his BKB, which is the main, you know, main thing we have to be worried about here. Once the Slark pops his BKB, which I think he does, what, right here? Yeah, Slark pops BKB, my entire team starts backing. Even when he went in here, my whole team, like, kited out. We kited out. Why? Because we know Slark has to commit in here. If we kite out and we don't let him burst anyone, then we can go back in. Then we can chase. We have a Night Stalker, we have a Ricky with so much chase, so we just wait out this BKB. Night Stalker kind of didn't wait it out, but I had a good force staff for him. Then Lina BKB, so we continue to kite. Mwah! Mwah! Oh man, you love to see it. And yeah, eventually the Mars, funny enough, overcommits. Lukey on the feed, just flying, but you know, and yeah, that was just a beautiful engagement. And hopefully you can see that being able to do that as a support is just as important as it is on a core. And you might be like, oh, but in my pubs, people don't kite out, so I don't. Trust me, guys, that's not the case. Like, you're gonna get chased by cores, you're gonna get chased by random heroes. Make sure you're baiting them as far as possible. It's a huge deal. It's not a small deal, it's a huge deal. All right, and to end off the replay, let's look at another fight. Funny enough, I actually thought we were winning this game much harder than we were. Apparently, we were only 1k ahead. But that's the power of the Ogre, you know? The Bloodlust. No one can man up to your cores. It's that good. But to look at my items this game, I ended up going a Blink late. The second item I went was Ghost Scepter. Reason being is the main hero that was targeting me was either Alina or Slark. And as long as I have Ghost, they can't kill me. On top of that, I took the HP talents. Literally, if you take both of these talents, you get 775 HP, which is so much. Like, your hero can just bait so much in team fights. You still die pretty fast because you only have 14 armor and you're slow. But if you have good positioning, you can bait a lot. So looking at this fight here, I wanted to chain stun the Pango. We were obviously trying to burst him, so I blink on him. We chain stun the Pango. I immediately throw out my Ignite, right? Just chuck out your stuff. Then, when my Q is coming up, I'm going to move into position, right? So I move into position with the Q. Obviously, I'm just going to follow here, hit up the bloodlust. Always just remember to cast all of your spells, and we just easily win this fight. Ends up being a really nice game. And yeah, I feel like my team just played really well, but this Ogre here, I'm telling you guys, the bloodlust, it's so nice. Just to look at, I even think we should look at Night Stalker's perspective in one fight, or even a Ricky's perspective in one fight. All right, so in this example here, it's a really nice example because I actually think he would have died here or overcommitted if he wasn't bloodlusted. So as we see here, I'm gonna put him almost all the way up to maximum movement speed, and as he goes in, he's at literal haste right now, and is able to find the Pango, and you can see the attack speed here is just insane. And because he's able to attack move so quickly here and can catch up with his haste movement speed from the bloodlust, he's able to get the Pango and just barely gets out with the back end of his BKB. Literally did not have this spell. I don't think he actually gets out. I think he would have gotten Light Strike or Raid, or even controlled by the Pango, right, with the Pango Disarm or Swashbuckle. Or even Shield Crash. So a lot of value there, just over and over again. I literally bloodlusted this guy the entire game. You can see he basically perma has it. Pretty good about doing that. And yeah, even in this fight, just able to kite out so easily, just in and out and around the outside of the fights. It's just such a valuable ability to just be able to move quickly in Dota. You know, I don't think people really realize how much of a part movement speed plays in winning team fights and just being able to outplay people in Dota. But yeah, that's going to be about all for today's video. That's the main things I wanted to say. I just think this hero is a really good laner. I think Bloodlust is in a great spot. I think Ignite's in an insanely good spot right now for the laning stage. It's just such a good laning ability. And if you max it out, which is the build I'm personally the biggest fan of right now, if you max out the Ignite and take the level 10 talent, the amount of damage you do and the amount of wave clear you have is stupid good. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.